Hi, I'm Chris James, and you're watching Healthy Alternative. Today, I want to talk about the benefits of Michael, and today we're going to be talking about...
Today we'll be making one of my favorite soups.
Welcome to the
Creamy tomato
JR72 Challenge.
I am Animated Mel, and I am your mental and wellness coach for
As always, perfection is not needed, but consistency.
We must first lovingly accept what is. You can't heal a body you hate.
I just want to take a moment to say thank you to all of you all for coming. This community is designed to support you in that time. It's really to utilize when things are bad and when you're at your lowest.
I started to learn about emotions. I started to learn about finding root causes, right? Starting to understand addiction and how addiction is not, once again, the issue that we are using a negative stimulus as a coping mechanism.
Part of my mission is to make sure people know that everything we need comes in a natural form. It's already here for us.
I am determined. I am strong. And I am ready.
We must first lovingly accept what is. I often say, you can't heal a body you hate.
This is healthy blood cells. And that's what we're aiming for. So you can see the contrast. Okay? What you do matters.
Thank you all for coming. Be blessed. Yeah, here we are today. What's up, everybody? What up? All right, I think audio and video is good, so I think we're just gonna get right into it tonight. It is already late, but we doing AHA After Dark tonight, and today's topic is a doozy. We got a couple topics that we're gonna be hitting on as we close out the end of this year. I do want to make a quick announcement to let you guys know that the AHA 21-day fasting challenge is officially open. We're going to be starting the challenge January 5th. So it'll be right after the holidays. That'll give you guys an opportunity to get that holiday weight off. You don't have to feel guilty about the bad decisions. If you make bad decisions, if you make good decisions, you can continue to support that mind frame. So the link is going to be in the chat for you guys to jump in and learn more about the 21-day fasting challenge and register if you want to register. All right, today, I wanted to talk about mindful consumption, but I wanted to look at it, I guess, from a perspective that maybe isn't so popular when people think of consumption, especially mindful consumption. When we look at the holistic community, mindful consumption is something that is kind of trending right now. What most people, when they talk about mindful consumption, we're going to be looking at like plant-based nutrition. We're going to be looking at mindful eating. Like, what are you putting in your mouth? Obviously, sustainable consumption. You want to make sure that what you're eating isn't harming the environment. When I very first started with my mindful consumption, I focused a lot on labels, making sure that, you know, when I was reading labels, it aligned with the goals I had in mind, and we could dive all the way into labels. Some people, including Coach Steven likes to do digital detoxes because in the age of social media, sometimes we got to take a break. Look, I need you guys to understand something. Social media is the new news. The legacy news outlets are dying. Social media has become the new news. One of the things that I did when I was early in my adulthood was I stopped listening to the news because of how toxic the news was. For me, I completely removed myself from news outlets. I just stopped watching the news because I didn't find any benefit in it. There was just zero benefit. It was all negative. I don't think that's true with social media. I think social media is far more balanced than legacy news. But once again, it's a good idea to look at your digital detox. We talk about deeper cleanses when we look at our gut health. What are we putting in our body? How is our body digesting it, right? And then, of course, you got like, the list goes on and on when it relates to this topic of mindful consumption. But I want to look at it specifically from a standpoint of who are the people that you're consuming. And I do talk about this quite a bit, but I think it's when we talk about mindful consumption, it's like nobody really wants to talk about that. Nobody, that's why I bring it up so much. Nobody wants to talk about the people that we consume. We really want to focus on our food. When we think about mindful consumption, our ideology is really, what am I eating? What should I not eat? What's going to be healthier for me to eat? How does my body respond to what I eat? If you only focus on food, I need you guys to understand this is not holistic. That's not what holistic means, okay? Holistic wellness is looking at your mental, your physical, your energetic, your spiritual, and any other aspects of our being that exists. We need to look at that holistically. So when you think about mindful consumption, if you're only thinking about what you put in your mouth, you're missing 90% of it. I think that the people we consume have a bigger impact on us than we could ever imagine. Okay. Now, we've all heard that saying that you're the average of the 5 people that you spend your time with. Now, this sounds like a simple concept, but it actually carries a deep truth. The people that you surround yourself, they're going to influence how you think, how you feel, how you behave. And I think ultimately, and this is a big statement, but I think ultimately they're going to determine your success in life. I know that sounds unpopular because we were all taught that no one can determine our success except for us. We are the sole architects of our life, our future, our success. I know we were told that you could go to the moon and back if you want. I know. But it just so happens that as I've become more mature as an adult, and I've reflected on my past in different areas of my life, different time frames of my life, I'm able to see the incredible impact that my friend group had on me at different aspects in my life. And even now, looking at the group of people that I spend most of my time with, how they impact my growth forward. And I'm here to tell y'all, it could be a hard truth. That's fine. But the truth has to be stated. And I'm telling you, the people that you spend, the people you consume have such a great impact on your level of success. And because I think this, when we think of mindful consumption, we do not think of the people that we spend our time with. Once again, we're focused on like food and, maybe how things interact in our system, or, even the mental detoxes from social media. I think it's very easy for this to fly under the radar, and the impact is grave. If you do not make this shift, this perspective shift, and start looking at how the people around you are impacting you, they could be your downfall. They could literally be the reason you end up either in an early grave, or your quality of life as you get older is diminished. It's not where it should be or where it could be. Because one thing we have to come to grips with, the life that you live is yours to live and yours only. No one else can live your life. Now, there's a great power in that, but if it's abused, it can also be a very unpleasant situation. And we'll just say it like that. And we've seen it time and time again. We also understand misery loves company. So you got to understand, if you're around people who are miserable, they're going to naturally bring you down. I don't know why. I don't know why if someone is miserable, they don't uplift you. I don't know why misery's like, yo, I'm upset, I want you to be upset. Maybe logically you might think, well, if someone is miserable and there's someone around them that's happy, maybe they would try to become a part of that happiness. Maybe you would think logically that would make sense, but that's not the way it works. So the first question I have for you guys is, are the people that are around you miserable? Like, I want you to seriously take a second and think about the people that you spend, literally, just if you got to write it down, what the 5 people that you spend most of your time with, the 5 people that you're texting. Like, who do you talk to on a regular basis? Who do you call on a regular basis? Or maybe even whose content do you consume on a regular basis? And I want you to look at the relationship between you and them. And I want you to gauge, are they miserable? Are they happy? Are they moving forward in life? Because it's very likely that if you go through your phone and you highlight the 5 people that you text the most, those are the people that are holding you back in life. Even though those are the people that you would probably consider the closest to you, those are the people that maybe be your loved ones, your family, your friends. You know, they could even be somebody that you would consider a mentor. But I will say this, if you're not where you want to be in life, or if you're not moving in that direction with gusto, it's a very high likelihood that a big part of your problem is in that list of people. Now, this does not make them bad people, right? Like, I'm not saying that just because they're in this list, they're bad people. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is we have to be mindful of our consumption outside of just simply what we put in our mouth. That's what I'm trying to get across to you. When we think about the statement that you are the sum total of the people you spend your time with, basically what we're saying is the people you spend most of your time with significantly influence your thoughts. Your thoughts, before you ever do anything, before you have an action or a behavior, you have a thought. So when we really look at this, it's easy to understand why these people have such a big impact, because think about it. If you have something going on in your life, you're going to confide in one of these 5 people, right? These 5 people that you consume on a regular basis. You're going to confide in them. So typically what's going to happen is either they're going to kind of console you and listen, but more often they'll give you some type of advice. They're going to give you their 2 cents. They might not even say much. It could just be the way they sigh, their body language as you convey information to them. They're giving you feedback. And that feedback is jumping around in your brain. It's altering your perception of whatever it is that's bothering you, or whatever it is that's going on, whatever it is that you're confiding in them. It's altering how you process that. So it's the most intimate stage of action is the thought. You have the thought first. When we look at products that are in this world, any product that is in this world currently started here in the human mind, right? The product, the idea, the concept, it started here in the human mind. And then there were actions that came after that. So when you think about it, it really makes sense why their impact is so huge. So we understand the negative connotation with this, but there's the positive side as well, meaning that if you surround yourself with positive people who are motivated, they're goal-oriented, then you're more likely to adopt those traits. This is the reason why, like, depending on like the research you guys do and just, you know, books you read and stuff, you'll hear stories of individuals who were able to put themselves around, let's say they want to, they want to become a multimillionaire. You'll hear a story of an individual who's able to just put themselves around a multimillionaire or a group of multimillionaires. And what you will find time and time again is that if an individual has a desire to be a multimillionaire and they spend the majority of their time, those 5 people are multimillionaires, they will inevitably become a multimillionaire. It's just facts, and it's a hack too. So if we can understand this concept, we don't like, yes, I know it's sad to think that you have to alter the relationship you have with somebody that is very close to you. And it's your decision, right? They're like, no one's going to make you do it. I think my job here is to just bring it to your attention so you're aware of it. And then the goal here is for you to decide how you interact with that person. I don't think that you have to cut them off completely or anything like that to get the result you want. What I'm trying to get you guys to understand is that you got to put yourself around the people and the communities and the support systems that are going to help you get to your goals. The cool thing about it is when you put yourself in a new environment where you're going to be more successful and then you start to get that success, you can always reach a hand back and grab those friends that you want to bring with you. But you have to do it from a place where you're grounded, meaning you can't be poor and give to the poor. It doesn't make any sense. The goal is to get rich and then give back. You have to become wealthy. You have to gather resources, and then you can give back. And you can give back in many different ways. You can give back by doing Thanksgiving turkeys, which I wouldn't do. You could give back by establishing schools, which I'm for establishing schools under the right premise. I like that idea, but most of the times people don't do it the way that I would. You can give back monetarily, gift cards or scholarships for school, whatever. You could give back resources like education, books. The list goes on, right? But the goal is you got to go and grab something tangible to be able to offer. So if you look at your friend circle that way, it's not like you got to leave them in the dust. It's just you're advancing ahead in order to grab resources that you can then offer to your friends. Now, whether they take them or not, I can't do anything about that. And neither can you. And that becomes a hard pill to swallow. But then it also shows you why you were having such a hard time getting where you wanted to be, because the people around you didn't want to go where you were going. So when I started my wellness journey, as I've told you guys many times, I had my brother John, who's one of our coaches now. He was the first person that did this with me. It just so happened he wanted to improve his health and wellness too. So we did it together, easy money. Then we reached out to Steven. Okay. Steve took a little coercing, but eventually Steve got on board. We went to the rest of our family, and most of them rejected the ideology. They weren't interested in changing their lifestyle in order to be healthy, in order to prevent disease. So imagine if you're in an environment, you're around family, which, you think that's good. It's warm, it's fuzzy. They're blood, you love them, but they don't have any desire to get healthy. Are you going to sacrifice your health and wellness, your quality of life, years on the end of your life? Are you going to sacrifice it for these moments with them? That's the question you got to ask yourself. And then also you have to think, if you do make the sacrifice, if you say, I'm willing to sacrifice my health, my well-being in order to continue to be in these relationships that aren't helping me grow, you also got to realize that at some point you may become a burden on those very people. Because let's be honest, as the body starts to break down, you require more care. And there's going to become there's a time when the care you require is more than what you're able to provide for yourself. Once again, this could be monetarily, this could be physically, this could be mentally. We all know that dementia is on the rise. Do you guys know that dementia is on the rise? It's catastrophic. The amount of cases of dementia that we're dealing with as we move to the future, it's catastrophic. Just do some Googling. Google the rate of dementia in the country 100 years ago versus now. Look at the projections. What is the projection for dementia over the course of the next 25 years? I look at statistics because I think that there's a lot that we can kind of gain from like insight. We can gain a lot of insight from statistics. All of the big tech companies, Google, Facebook, YouTube, they all use data. They all gather data and statistics, and then they run it through an algorithm, and that algorithm helps them to understand trends. So we could do the same thing with the knowledge and information that we have, and we could see the trends. And the interesting about it is these trends can help you make money too, if you like, if that's what you're interested in, because the way you make money, a lot of money, is just simply solving a problem that either exists currently that doesn't have a good solution, or a problem that will exist. So you can forecast. But we have to start looking at who we're spending our time with. Okay. Now, the thing that I had to come to grips with personally, and you guys might be the same. You might be the same. You think to yourself, I'm a positive person. I'm positive. Maybe I'm a leader in my group, right? You guys know how it is. Different cliques of people, there's always that person that kind of comes to the top as the leader in the majority of situations. Doesn't mean it's always the case, but you know what I'm saying. And you might think, well, I have a great influence on my friends and family and those people around me. I'm positive. Here's the problem. There's 5 of them and only 1 of you. For the little bit of benefit that's rubbing off on them from you, you're 5xing whatever it is that they're giving. So if they're not on the same page, if they're not trying to move in the same direction, what's going to end up happening is they're going to swallow you up. I mean, that's basically what it's going to come to. They're going to swallow you up. You do have an impact on them, don't get me wrong, but they have to be of the mind that wants to grow and move in a particular direction with intention. We got to do timelines. It's a beautiful thing when groups of people can get together and they can make goals together and they can hold each other accountable and they can move as a unit. That's a beautiful thing. It's a powerful thing, right? This is one of the reasons why we created the 21-day fasting challenge, because when you have 2 or more people gathered and they are of one mind, there is a powerful synergy that takes place. We talked about that a few live streams ago. Okay. That synergy is the synergy between 2 or more people is something that an individual cannot create on their own. So what you're doing is you're creating something that you can't do on your own. And that's a beautiful thing. But it's a double-edged sword, because when you have 2 or 3 people gathered positively, it's going to uplift. When there's 2 or 3 people gathered negatively, it's going to downgrade. And you may not even realize that what you're doing is seeping deeper and deeper, because being negative is so normal to you. And this is something that was eye-opening for me, I'll say. It wasn't really a pain point because of my personality. I was okay with like cutting people off and shifting people around, but it was an eye-opener. When I started to get healthy, when the mucus started to drain and I started to think more clearly, I very readily picked up on negativity from other people. Nothing about them changed. I changed. But I started to notice, man, my friends are negative. These people are negative. They always talk negative. It was like my eyes opened up for the first time, and I had to let people go. I did. Like, what's not normal in my friend group, I'll say what's not normal, is for us to be out together, doing whatever, and watching other people and just making negative comments about other people, right? Like, you see somebody, they're not dressed well, you make a negative comment or whatever. We see it on social media all the time. People will take pictures of people. Like, it's just a normal thing to do. You're with your friends. Man, look at that dude. Why is he da 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 da? You know what I'm saying? It just rolls off the tongue like, man, look at this dude. What da 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 da? Why is this dude's car da 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 da? You know what I mean? And probably 10, 15 years ago, I would say it was very commonplace for the people that I was spending time with for us to do that. Like, I'm not excluding myself from it. But what I'm saying is, I don't do that now because all of the people that I spend the majority of my time with, we've all elevated. And it's not as typical to just talk negative. Okay? It's what we typically do is we talk about plans, future, achievements. We have healthy competitions. You know, there was a time when we were all looking to make more money, so we would challenge each other to make more money and talk about what we did to be more successful. I don't know. It might sound weird. We just don't talk about negativity. We just don't. It's not to say we never do. It happens from time to time, but let's just say that's 80-20, meaning 80% of our conversation is positive, uplifting, motivational, or funny. And then 20% is the other, whatever the other would be. So, yeah, I really want you guys to take a good look at who you surround yourself with to see. Now, you could get by with making improvements in your health and wellness. You can. A lot of us are on that wellness roller coaster. So if you start to question, why am I on the wellness roller coaster? Like, what's holding me back? One thing you could do, and I'm not saying you should or you have to, but one thing you could do is talk to your 5 people and be like, hey, I'm planning to do X, Y, Z. Okay. And maybe you've done this before, but maybe you haven't been intentional about really internalizing their answers for the purposes of what we're talking about today. So you say, hey, I'm planning to join this a healthy alternative 21-day fasting challenge. You give them a brief description of why you want to do it and what you plan to gain from doing it. And then just see how they respond. See how they respond. Do they respond positively? Do they respond negatively? Is their response neutral? Kind of like, do they have an undertone of, I've heard this before. You said that last year. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe they respond positively, but then I want you to pay attention to what support you're getting from them. So it's not just all about words. Actions matter as well. They might say, oh, that's a great idea. I hope you do well. What type of support do they offer you after you've made this decision? You know what I mean? Are they checking in on you to see what your progress is? Hey, did you follow through with that? Are they holding you accountable? Are they presenting you with opportunities to do the opposite of what it is you said you wanted to do? For example, if you're going to do the 21-day fast in January, are they trying to plan a trip with you in January? Hey, let's do a cruise. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to think about what they say, how they respond, their body language, and then, of course, their actions. And then that will help you determine who is on the same path as you and who isn't. So there's a pruning that we have to do if you're serious about holistic wellness. Could you get by without doing this? Yeah, you could get by. But I'm going to tell you guys, here's the sad thing about just getting by when you do this. What I see happen so much, I see someone in chat say, you can't even tell everybody. Well, that's exactly what I'm talking about, isn't it? That's exactly what I'm talking about. You can't tell everybody. Why? Because most people are negative. Let's just call a spade a spade. Most people are negative. If you tell 100 people, well, let's just say if you tell 20 people in your friend circle what you're doing, most of them are going to be, once again, either negative or try to derail you. You know, that's very, very common. People will try to derail you. I want you guys to I want you to keep in mind that this type of exercise is a difficult one. It doesn't have to be done overnight. This is one of those things. It's a transitional thing. When you change your diet from standard American diet, eating McDonald's 2-3 times a week, to alkaline or even just home cooked meals, it's okay to throw a couple fast food meals in there, every month, just to help keep you sane as you transition. One of the things that I think was kind of a mistake early on with the AHA branding, and some of the things I let go, were allowing people to push a narrative that if you have to push hard, you got to go 0 to 100. I was never 100% a fan of that. I did certain things myself. Like, I'll push myself really hard, and I may have inadvertently conveyed a message to just go 0 to 100, but moderation is key. And even when I transitioned my own diet, I took a year to transition my diet. I don't think transitioning your diet in a month makes sense. So as we look at our friend group and stuff, it wouldn't make sense for you guys to, like, you're going through this list of people and you're like, dang, I got to get rid of this person, that person, this person, and I'm going to do it by the end of the year. That's not healthy. Don't do that. Let me just tell you, don't do that. That's not what I'm telling you to do. What I'm saying is identify people in your circle that are harmful to your expansion and where you want to go, and then slowly transition and shift and pivot away from them in a way that allows you time to disengage more naturally. You don't want to rip the Band-Aid off, and you don't have to. There's no reason to do that. We're not trying to burn bridges. They're not bad people. Once again, these might be your family. This might be people that you grew up with. It's just simply that, how people say, like, they get in a relationship and they've been together for 2 years, and you're like, Dad, you guys are such a great couple. Are you going to get married? And they're like, we're not sure. And then a half a year later, they've kind of broken up, and you said, what happened? You guys were so cute together. Oh, we just kind of grew apart. Now, I think most people use that as an excuse when they break up, the grow apart thing. I mean, that's just my opinion. I think a lot of people just use it as a scapegoat. But the idea of growing apart is a real thing. It means that we met at a point. Let's say we were doing like this, right? Hold on. Let's say that we're doing like this, okay? Boom, and we meet at a point. And right here at this point, we're perfect for each other. We are in the same place at the same time. We're on the same page. Everything is great. We don't realize the big picture is we're moving like this. And we have the point, and then after that point, we're actually going to start moving in opposite directions. That happens. That's a thing. And it definitely happens with friends too. Like, people that you grew up with. I'm virtually nothing like I was when I was a child. Like, I have a lot of core beliefs, character traits, but as far as interests, priorities, location, a lot of the things that people kind of meet on for them to, like, get along, those things have changed. So the people that I was friends with when I was 12 and 13, we wouldn't get along today. 90% of them. Because we were just doing this. Now, I still know them. When I go in town, we still hang out, talk. But after I'm gone, that's it. We don't talk anymore. We don't see each other. We don't plan to meet up. We don't have similar interests. So this happens, and it's fine. No love lost. They already know there's no love lost. We're into different things. So you got to prepare yourself for that. Now, the beautiful thing is, the other side is, when you let something go, you also make room to gain something, right? So if you're busy holding on to these 5 people that are holding you back mentally, physically, energetically, You can't grab new people. You can't grab onto something that might be healthy or beneficial for you because your hands are full with these other people. If you start putting them down, now you have the capacity to invite new people into your space. And because you're inviting them into your space with the explicit thought that I'm gonna bring people into my space, they're gonna help me on my wellness journey. They're gonna help me be better in life. When you do that, now you're bringing in quality people. They're gonna help you to propel yourself. And it's not to say that the people that you are already dealing with aren't quality in their own way. It just is saying that they're not on the same page. You guys don't have the same priorities. So grab people who have the priorities that are in alignment with where you want to go. Is this making sense? I hope this is making sense. I like this. Sometimes when you stick to your plan, they seem to fade away by themselves. I've seen that in other parts of life. They don't make you, you make them, and for a good purpose, healthy life. It's very natural that people they go there. Here's how I'll put it. Exactly what you just said. Here's how I'll put it. It's a frequency. Okay? It's a frequency. All right, let's see if we can make this make sense. All right. So let's say that I'm in New York City. Okay? I'm in New York City. You see me, right? You see me. I walk past you. It's busy. The streets hustling and bustling, taxi cabs, you know what I mean? If you've ever been to New York City, it could be a chaotic. So you see me walk past, but you can't remember my name. You can't remember my name. You know, I've seen him. I watch his YouTube. What is his name? And you start screaming, John, John, John. And I just keep on going. The frequency of the vocal cords, the name John, that frequency doesn't resonate with me. That's not my name. My name is Chris. So when people aren't on the same frequency, they miss each other. It's just a natural thing. It's a natural thing. When you change your frequency or your vibration, you start missing people. Listen, I'm not mad, right? Like I'm oblivious. Honestly, I didn't know you was calling me. You was calling somebody named John. That ain't me. I don't have a reason to turn around for that. I'm not mad at you. I'm not upset at you. It's all good. Right? When we're not on the same frequency, there's no love lost. It's no big deal. It's just what it is. Everybody understands, like, hey, I know that must not be his name. You know that ain't his name. Hey, what is his name? You know. I don't know. Nobody knows. We're on a different frequency. It's all good. But that's what happens. When people are on different frequencies, they just miss each other. And there's no love lost. You know what I mean? So it's kind of similar to the prayer that you might say to God. And you'll say, God, remove people from my life that are going to be harmful to my growth and my expansion, or that are going to be harmful to my service to you, or whatever that prayer might be. You know, if you guys grew up in a church, if you pray, that's a very common thing for people to ask God to remove people and things from their lives. When you ask that, what happens is your frequency changes. And the people and the things that aren't on that same vibration, they just miss you. No different from you calling me John on a busy New York street. We just miss. Sorry. That's all. Okay. So that's how that works. So I think that you guys can take this information and over the next couple of weeks or month or moving into the new year, you can look at altering your friend group. Why? Why is this important? Let's kind of summarize this. Energy exchange. Okay. When you are around people who are of a different mindset or on a different frequency, there is this very cool presentation I saw by Dr. Bruce Lipton years ago. Okay. And what he did, which resonated with me so well, because I used to be an electrician for those who knew. There's this thing called a sine wave. Let me see if I can show you guys real quick, just for those who don't know. I want to make sure everybody's on the same page. I don't know if this is going to show up. Actually, hold on. I'm going to use a white sheet of paper, and then that way we can illustrate this. Hopefully this pen works. You know what? I got a marker. This is going to be good, y'all. Hang tight. Hang tight. Yeah, this is way better. All right. Okay, so these are called sine waves. Let's see if it's going to focus. Boom. There you go. Those are called sine waves. Now, if you notice, they kind of look like snakes. If you look at this sine wave here, it ends at a peak. You see that peak? And if you look at this sine wave here, it ends as it moves towards the other snake. It ends at a valley. Okay? You guys got me? You got one sine wave ending at a peak. You got the other one ending at a valley. Sine waves, this is like a two-dimensional representation of energy, how energy flows. So when we talk about energy exchange, when you have two people that are like these snakes here, we're just going to call them snakes, okay? When those two snakes collide, they're both moving in the same direction, okay? They're both moving towards each other. When they collide, they are going to neutralize each other. The reason why is because one of the energy waves is at a peak and the other one is at a valley. That is what happens when you have people in your environment that are not on the same wavelength. Now, let me show you what happens when you have two people on the same wavelength. Sorry for this. I'm doing the best I can. All right, now you have this second set of snakes. Okay, they're moving towards each other, but they're both peaking at the same time. When those two snakes or sine waves, when those two sine waves collide, they amplify each other. So what ends up happening is you get a big healthy wave. Okay. So the first two, they cancel each other out and they end up doing this. You see that flat line? That's when you die. That's a flat line. And then the second two, they end up making a bigger wave, something bigger than what they could do on their own. And that's just kind of like a visual representation. It's a terrible visual representation. Hopefully you guys got it. But that's what happens when you spend time with people who are on the same frequency of you or on a different frequency. All right. So there's your energy exchange. That's one of the reasons why we want to make sure that we have the right people in our friend group. The second thing, the subconscious influence, we talked about that earlier. The way they react when you give them news, the way they react, their body language, their support, their advice, those are going to impact your actions. You guys ever heard the statement, single people keep people single? Single, I think it's more succinctly, single women keep women single, something like that. I'll say people. Single people keep people single, right? If you are a married person, it's probably not the best idea to have a friend group of single people. It doesn't make them bad people. It doesn't mean you can't interact with them from time to time, but it would probably be healthier for you to interact with other married people. You're on the same wavelength. Single people want to go to the club. Married people want to have game night, right? The family and dinner and the children, get the children together and let them go and play and barbecue. Single people might want to go on a cruise and drink and go to the club. Married people are like, let's bring the children. Let's find activities for them. Let's do excursions together. Same activity, different lanes. Y'all got me? Another very important reason why you want to have a proper friend group is because accountability partners. So not only are they going to give you good advice or join you on your path, but they're going to hold you accountable for what you said you're going to do. Because when you have people on the same frequency, they want the same thing you want. So it would behoove them to help you get where you want to go, because that's where you want to go as well. Or where they want to go as well, I should say. So they'll hold you accountable. You're encouraging them. You're motivating them. You guys are feeding off of each other. Don't forget synergy, powerful stuff. When you have the wrong people around you, you're going to get negative reinforcement. When you have the right people around you, you're going to get positive reinforcement. There's also a ripple effect that happens. Your interactions with these people, listen, this is not just you. Do you guys understand there is a ripple effect that happens? So, for example, you're a mother or a father. You have poor influences personally, right? You have poor influences. What does that mean? They could put you in compromising situations. They could say something that upsets you, or they can plant a seed in you that grows subconsciously. And then the fruit of that seed, the child gets to see the bearing of that fruit. The child gets to see you crying. The child hears you, overhears you talking negatively about people, right? So there is a ripple effect. And remember, children are sponges. And if you don't have children, this still works, right? Because maybe you have a spouse, or maybe you have whatever. We live in crowds, groups, tribes. We impact more than just us. So the negative people in your friend group, or the people that might be holding you back, there's a ripple effect. It's going to impact other people as well, people that you love. When you are surrounded by people of the same mindset, there's something that happens called the growth mindset. It's a very powerful concept. It is the idea that we are going to continuously be students of life, right? We're not going to get complacent in a way where, life is monotonous and boring and we complain all the time and, we want more, but we won't do more. No, we're going to be in a mindset. Hey, listen, if you keep telling me that you want to lose weight, eventually I'm going to be like, look, either you got to start losing weight or you got to stop talking to me about this. Like, I'm going to hold you want to lose weight. Let's do this. Let's go. Let's do this together. That's the type of people you want around you. Like, they're not going to let you just keep talking negatively, either negative self-talk or talking negatively about other people. You want people around you that are going to check you, check your attitude, check how you interact with other people. And then the other thing too is different people have different gifts. So for example, we may be of the same mind and we want to move in the same direction, but my gifts are different from your gifts. So if you have a group of people, let's say it's 5 people, that we're all individuals, we all come from different backgrounds, but we have the same mindset. We want to get to point A together. Guess what? Where you lack, where you don't have tools here or you don't have experience here, they do. So now, as you're trying to accomplish this goal, it becomes that much easier because you have a team of people all with different skill sets. And if you come together, You guys are going to create something so special that you couldn't do it unless you did it together. Like, there was a song by Neo. I'm not a big Neo fan, but when this song came out, like, it really resonated with me. He said, I'm a movement by myself, but I'm a force when we're together. Talking about a girl. Me personally, I kind of thought about it in the context of marriage. A great man there's a limit. There's a limit on how great a man can be. From the outside looking in, they could look like they got it all. But when you speak to people that you may consider great, who have a wife, men, like when you speak to men who have a wife, they will tell you that they could not be where they are without that woman. It doesn't matter how great you are by yourself. It is when you have that partner, that person, that support system, that community, that you become greater than you ever imagined. I hope y'all are getting what I'm putting down, man, because I'm pouring my heart and soul into this message. This as we close out the month, my goal is to share more of these kinds of thoughts, and these are things that I think about. I write, like, this is what I do. This is like what I do. I have these conversations with myself. I test people, not in a bad way, but just like I pay attention. I say something, I pay attention to how they react. One of the things that I don't do, you'll never see me call someone that I just met my friend. Like, I don't do that. This is not if you're that person, that's fine. That's on you. I don't care. I'm not saying it's a bad or a good thing. I'm saying I don't do it. The reason I don't do that is because I've learned from my life experience. You can't call everybody your friend. And I have met many people that, remember earlier we were talking about this. Sometimes you meet at a point and it's perfect. I have met many people at this point, this special point where we're on the same page. And then over time, we're going a different direction, and they'll stab you in the back, or they will do something that you would consider outside of their character. The problem is you didn't see the big picture. You didn't realize you guys were crossing paths like that. You thought it was like this, and you were going to walk together. Do y'all get that? Hold on. Like this. You thought that's what was happening, but what really is this. So when you don't see the big picture, you give people credit where it's not due. Yeah, so I challenge myself. I challenge my friends, and one of the ways that you become my friend is by going through something with me. I guess it goes back to what Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said about the content of someone's character. I think y'all know this what the saying. It's not about how someone acts or how they respond when times are good and when things are easy, and that there's no challenge there. It's everybody loves you when you're winning. Everybody wants to be on your team when you're winning. Like, we understand this. It's when you lose. It's when life happens. It's when obstacles come your way. It's when things aren't going well. It's when your attitude isn't the greatest. It's when you are in a challenge, when you're in a deficit. That's when you see the real content of people's character. Do they really love you? Are they really going to stand by you? Is it really ride or die? You got to put pressure on the situation. You got to put pressure on the relationship to know. If there's no pressure, it's all talk, in my opinion and in my experience. I've been fooled many a time. I have, especially when I was younger. And every single time someone fools me, I don't get upset. I learn. All right, you got me. But guess what? I've always been a fan of the wise man. You've taught me that lesson. I will never make that mistake again. Like, I am not going to make that mistake again. And that's kind of what life is about. This is the reason why it's important to have a balanced like an emotional. You want to be emotionally balanced so that you can, when someone does you dirty, yes, it's okay to express that emotion, but then it's also important to reel yourself back in and not allow that to drag you to a dark place. You know? So when people show you who they are, believe them the first time, right? One of the things that I do is I look at those around me, and I look at what's their skill set. So one more actionable step you guys can take as it relates. So we talked about looking at your friend group, the 5 people you spend most of your time with, maybe the 5 people you're texting on a regular basis, or you're calling, or even the content you consume. You write that down. You look at, are they miserable people? Are they happy? Are they not happy? Like, where are they at? You test them, right? It's just, hey, tell them something positive that you want to do, and just look at how they respond holistically. How do they speak? How do they act? Do they hold you accountable? And then one other exercise you could do to kind of filter out your friend group is to look at, what are their skill sets? What do they bring to the relationship? How do they benefit you? Like, we live in this day and age where it's like a bad thing to have transactional relationships, but that's what they all are about. Like relationships are transactional. I know it doesn't sound good to say that, but let's be honest. If you meet another human being and that human being doesn't do anything for you, they don't give you, they don't console you, they don't please you, they give you nothing. How long are you going to interact with that person where it's just one-sided, where you're the only one giving? That's a toxic relationship. The transaction is, I give, you give. Now, it doesn't have to be I give 5 times, you give 5 times, right? It could be I give 5 times, you give 1 time. But there has to be a transaction. There has to be a give and a take. That's the way it works. So look at those people and look at their highlights. What are they good at? You know, maybe one person's really intuitive. They have great intuition. Well, that could be a very important tool for you as you move forward. It also helps you to kind of understand how you should use them. I know it sounds bad. How should you use your friends? Well, you should. What are they there for? Use them. They're your friends. That's the point. We should use each other. We should grow from each other. But you need to know what you go to this friend for. Like when you need motivation, maybe you have a friend that's a great motivational speaker. When you need that spark, hey, John, this is what I got going on, man. What do you think? Oh, man, look, Chris, listen, here's the way I want you to look at this, right? And they give you a different perspective and slap you on your butt, send you on your way. Sometimes you got a business proposition. You got to go to the intuitive one. Hey, look, this company wants to What do you think about this? I don't know, Chris. That's not a good look, right? You guys should be doing this. And I've told you before, like, run your friendships, run your life as if you're like a Fortune 500 company. When you're the CEO or the CFO or whatever, a C-suite employee of a Fortune 500 company, you look at your employees and you look at what they can do for the company. How are they going to impact the big picture? And guess what happens? When that person either exceeds in that role or is no longer doing what they should be doing or what that position requires, they either get promoted or fired. Run your life, run your wellness run your business, your friendships like it's a Fortune 500 company. If you do that, you're going to have much greater success. This was a good talk, y'all. I appreciate you rocking out with me. We slowly doubled our viewership throughout this call. For those who came later, I would love for you to watch the beginning of the call. There's a lot of nuggets. There's a lot. We talked about a lot today. But I started the call telling you guys about our 21-day fasting challenge that's coming up January 5th. Okay. I want to invite you all to join us. It is the first 21-day fasting challenge we've done in over a year. And we're going to be doing things a little different too. We changed things up. We got new information. I'm very excited to interact with you guys. If you're looking to lose 30 pounds and as we start off the next year, the 21-day fasting challenge, easy money. You know what I mean? We're going to teach you guys how to prepare for the fast. We're going to teach you some extra therapeutic techniques for cleansing the body. We're going to talk about mitigating detox symptoms so that you can have a more seamless fast. We're going to be giving you guys, if you want to do different fasts versus like the 21-day fast, if you want to do, juice cleanse or maybe raw food or whatever, we will be supporting you guys in whatever therapy you decide to do over the 21 days. But the highlight is going to be a 21-day water fast with alternatives there if you need it, right? It's going to be an amazing experience. We'll be together for 5 weeks. You guys get the live coaching sessions from the entire AHA team, as well as the coaching you get from the community itself. It is an incredible experience. And if you guys are looking to hit 2025 on the right foot, then come and join us and help us make the big sine wave. There we go. We want to make the big sine wave. There it is, the big snake. Okay, we want to be big snakes. You guys want to fast for spiritual purposes? Beautiful. The beautiful thing about fasting for spiritual purposes is that it's all inclusive. The only difference between a spiritual fast, fasting for physical health or mental health, is your perception and your intention. Where are you putting your attention and intention? How are you perceiving the fast? But the beautiful thing is the body does it holistically. So you're going to get the benefits of the physical as well as the spiritual. It's just about when you come out of the fast, what are you going to talk about? What was your experience going to be? That's the difference, right? When I used to fast when I was 9 and I would fast for spiritual reasons, which I hated, my physical body, I was like, bro, I'm hungry, bro. I don't want to do this. My whole focus was on the spiritual side. I was not focused on the benefits to my physiology. Had I been focused on what benefits I'm getting, health-wise, I may have had a different attitude towards fasting. But I wasn't focused on it. But guess what? I was still getting the benefits. So that's the beauty of it. All right, y'all. That's all I got. I ain't got no more talking tonight. My goal is to see you tomorrow. So God willing, I'll be here tomorrow and we'll talk again. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week. You only got a day left before the weekend. If you don't got to work this weekend, I hope you have an enjoyable weekend. All right. We are going to end the month strong. We're going to end the year strong. And we are going to prepare our mind for the new year. No more year after year, the ups and downs, the yo-yoing. We're locking in. And I'm going to share as much value and wisdom as I can that I've gathered, not only from my own personal experience, but the experience that I've gotten from the different coaches and the different people I've got to interact with. I'm going to be sharing that wisdom as we close out the year. And I hope that it's valuable for you guys. And as always, the application of knowledge is power. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.